So in the last video, you were shown how to create links or relationships between your two tables. Now, your screen obviously should look something like this, okay, showing the three tables and the relationships between those three tables. I'm just going to close this. I'm going to save this, close this. So whenever you want to view your relationships and to check that your tables have been all linked correctly, always go to Database Tools, Relationships, and then you can see your relationships here. Okay, I just want to show you something here. So if you double click this line that actually joins the two tables, just double click that, it opens this window. And you can double check that the fields are linked correctly. So this means that table members is linked to orders table. Okay, and they're linked using the member ID. Now these must be exactly the same, so you must link member ID to member ID. You can't link the member ID to a completely different field. This will not work. You can also link fields that have got the same data type. So you cannot link a text field to a number field. The fields that you link must all have the same data type. So if you look at members table, so members ID is set up in members table as auto ID, but in orders table it's set up as number. So both are number fields. That's why we were able to create this link. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to close this. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create data entry forms. Data entry forms are used for entering data into the tables. We always avoid entering data directly into the tables because it takes long and it's not really user friendly. So we always use data entry forms to create to enter or input data into our tables. So I'm going to show you how to create data entry forms for each table. Right, let's start by creating a data entry form for our members table. So we go to Create, Form Wizard, and we want to create a form for the members table. So on this drop down arrow, I'll select my members table. Now members table has got all these fields. We want all these fields included on our form. So I'm going to click the double arrow, which means all the fields will be showing on my form. Click Next. I'm going to leave this as default. Go Next. Now because it's a form, I'm going to rename this FRM. FRM simply shows that it's a form for members table. So that's the convention. Those are the rules for naming your forms. You must have this prefix. Once that's done, click Finish. Okay, so this is how your form looks like. Now you might want to customize this form because it doesn't really look nice. It doesn't have a suitable title or heading. I'm going to customize this so that it's a bit more sensible. Now some of these fields are too long, so you can resize some of these to a reasonable length. And we can also add buttons with different functionality, so I'll be showing you how to do that. So firstly, we need to open this form in Design View by going to View and selecting Design View. I'm just going to pull this down so I can see all the fields and create a bit of space here where I can put my buttons. I'm going to stretch this slightly, not too much, but just a little bit, so that the end of these fields are not touching the end. So click on the field. You can actually then resize it, so we can afford to resize these because they don't need to be that big. Okay, so you can always switch between Design View and Form View, so you can actually see how the resizing has gone. Okay, So you could again resize some of these so your information shows clearly. Now going back into design view, what I would like to do is to rename this rather than FRM members. I would like to rename this to something meaningful. So we use this form to enter members or to record members. So I'm going to call it add new member. Okay, so you can stretch this. Click on this and then stretch it so that the title fits on one line. Okay, I'm just going to make sure this is centered. And then come to form view so you can see what you've actually done. So add a new member. Okay, right, so this form is not very useful. I would want the ability to scroll through and see some records. I would want the ability to delete records that are being displayed here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So go to view, design view. Up here you've got your all the other controls, buttons, and anything else that can be included on the form. So any objects that you can place on your form, they're called controls. So I'm going to add a button. I'm going to add a button, and this is the button here. It's got 3 X's. Click on it and then just drag it on here. The command button wizard comes up. Now I want to be able to use this button to move to the next record. So I make sure that I selected record navigation and go to next record. Next, I'm going to have it as a picture. Go to next. I'm going to select next, and then I might just want to call this CMD for command underscore next. Okay, and then click finish. So that's my next button. I want to do one for the previous records. Again, record navigation, and I'm going to select previous records, and then next. Leave this as it is. Go next. CMD underscore previous, and then click finish. I'm going to do another button. This time I want it to go to the first record. Okay, so it scrolls right to the beginning. So again, it's a record navigation. Go to first record, next, next, CMD, first record, and finish. I want to do another button for the last record. So again, I click on the button icon, draw it here, select record navigation, go to last record, next, next, CMD underscore last record, and then finish. I want to do the final one. Well, not the final one, but I want to do one to delete the record. Now, delete record is actually a record operation. So select record operation, and you can see you've got one for delete record here. Next, leave this as default. Next, CMD underscore delete. Finish. Just going to stretch this a little bit. I'm going to do another one here. Again, record operation. You can do one to save the record. Next. Now leave this as default. Go next. I'm going to call this CMD underscore save. And then click finish. So if I go back to form view, you can actually see that you've got your form which is now functional. So this scrolls through the records. This scrolls to the previous records. This goes to the first record, as you can see. This goes to the last record. This deletes records. So if I click this, it gives you a warning to say you're about to delete. I really don't want to delete anything, so I'm going to close this. This saves a record. Now, one other button that we could add is one that allows you to have a blank form so you can add a new record. So I'm just going to add that that button. So again, go back to design view. I'm going to stretch this a little bit so I've got a space for the next button. Click on the button icon. Place your button on your form. Now that again is a record operation. So select record operation and select add new record. Click next. Leave this stage as default. You're not going to make any changes. Next. Command, so cmd underscore new record. Then click finish. So again, if I go back to form view, you can see that if I click this button, it creates a new record for me. Okay, so that's the end of this video. See you in the next video.